A common theme of this channel is opulent, old, obnoxious tech, specifically laptops. All of this tech that you see here cost way too much money at the time. However, the engineering and the aesthetics were insane for the time. Whether they were worth it, it's debatable. But every single one of them brought a unique design that we appreciated over time, especially as they aged. Now, it's very rare that I ever get the chance to get one of these things brand new. So when ASUS reached out to me and was like, "Hey, the greatest technician that's ever lived, would you like to have a free ASUS ROG Z13 Flow Kojima edition?" I said, oh, yes, I would. And here it is. Here it is. This is the Kojima edition Flow Z13. I'm a little late to the game on this one. You may have seen videos on this. However, you've never seen a teardown on this. And it makes sense why no one would want to tear this down, because this device costs $3,699.99. Ah! The reason for this price, this is a collector's edition computer, and it has 128 gigabytes of LPDDR5 8000 soldered to the board, and an AMD Ryzen AI Max Plus 395. The best name that AMD could think of at the time. Now, obviously I can't blame them for not wanting to tear this thing down. It's $4 grand basically, and you don't want to break something that's that expensive, especially when there's probably not parts available to replace them. However, I'm me, and I really want to see what's inside this thing, because the only other device I've ever used that had this processor and this much RAM is the Framework desktop, which I have right here. I did a review on this thing. This thing is awesome as well. I'm not getting paid for this video. They just gave this to me, so this review is completely just my own opinions. It came with two things. This is a briefcase. This is a briefcase. What's in it? Oh, wow. It's nothing. Got him. I'm just kidding. There actually feels like there is something in here. Oh wait, this is a carrying case. It smells like money. Republic of Gamers, Kojima Productions. And the reason I'm doing this video today is because by this time the video releases, I will be in Taiwan, and this is my daily driver while I'm in Taiwan for 10 days because it is so powerful. I'm gonna peel the plastic off. You guys like some All right, this is the actual computer. Now, technically, this is a tablet. It's not a laptop, it's a tablet. So the keyboard is detachable, little magnets, which makes this thing even more impressive. Now, I'm gonna look at the aesthetics of this thing, but real quick, I just wanna see what I need to unscrew so I can prepare my screwdriver. And it looks like we have these Torx screws. Now, which one of these fine LTT precision screwdrivers that I've collected over the past few years am I going to use today? I know. I'll use the one they sponsored me with, that I've already taken out of the box because I genuinely use these. You know me, you know for over a year I have been using these screwdrivers in every single video. And now we have the new precision screwdriver that includes a crossbar. You see this? Those are the hard to break screws. I just grab those love handles. You hear that? I just cracked the screw and it rotates beautifully. And the tip is magnetic. That's why I use these. That's why I've been using these for over a year. This baby is solid anodized aluminum, and even better, 31 bits, including the essentials like Phillips flathead hex and Torx bits, as well as some unique bits designed for more specific projects. And detaches. Now it's a screw holder. I've tried a billion different Amazon screwdrivers and nothing comes close to the smoothness of the bearing on the LTT precision screwdrivers. And it's a fidget spinner. Come on, in every single video I do this. Shout out to lttstore.com because I've been using these screwdrivers for over a year and I swear by them, and I'm so proud to be sponsored by them today. So if you want to get the screwdriver that I actually use in every single video, just check the link in the description or the pinned comment. Let's peep the design. This is obviously where Kojima Productions, this is what they excel at, right? Everything is labeled, so heat vent, do not cover, obviously heat vent. Do not touch lens surface. I don't listen to rules. No one can tell me what to do. For the port selection, we have all this stuff. That's where that actual charger goes. HDMI, which is amazing in a tablet. USB 4, USB 4, I think that's USB 4. I think that's like a performance mode to open up like the settings. ASUS Armory Crate. Regular USB headphone jack. And this is pretty sick, so everything is labeled. You have the speaker here, audio jack, everything has its own little label, and it's done so well, so Kojima-like. And also, look at these dates. I didn't see anybody talking about these dates. 2006, 2015. Obviously, you have the AMD stickers. This does use Radeon graphics. It's the 8060S. Pogo pin, battery goes here. We'll find out if this is a lie. Is the battery here? Of course it is. But we're gonna take it apart and we're gonna find out. And you have the speakers, you have the micro SD card. Just the overall design of this thing, dude, this looks straight out of Death Stranding. Essentially, that's what it's supposed to be. Especially the briefcase. The carrying case is straight out of Death Stranding. I don't know if I'll actually be using it in the carrying case. I might just slap it in my laptop, but this thing is sick. And if you're spending 369 damn she fine money, you're gonna want something like this. Now, I can't leave out the charger. Check that model number. Ludens 1014 P1098. Like, let's go, dude. This is, it's so cool. I wonder if you scan that barcode, if it's gonna come up with that. It makes the difference. Every little detail makes the difference, and I appreciate every single little detail. And this thing is loaded with tiny details. The kickstand is what supports the tablet and turns it into a laptop, so this thing is going to be getting a lot of usage. And, you know, as a computer repair guy and as a hinge specialist, I focus on, is the hinge going to break? Do I think the hinge is going to break? And I can say, no. I mean, it's incredibly solid. I like the resistance. It has a lot of resistance, which is good. It's held together by 4 screws on 2 different mounts, so it feels sturdy. It gets my approval, my official approval. And it also came with another keyboard, a silver and gold. Is that gold? I'm colorblind. Silver and gold keyboard case. I like the white and gold. Oh, I like the silver and gold too, though. I like options. I like options. All right, let's turn this baby on. Now, the boot up should be... Come on. That is sick. I have the Jizz 302 version, and unfortunately, yes, it runs Windows 11, but you can install a different operating system if you want. We are on default settings, it looks like, because we are unplugged, so we can only get to like the turbo settings if we plug it in. And unfortunately, we have all that stuff. I'm not gonna get caught up on all this. I'm not gonna, you know, beat a dead horse, but we all know how everybody feels about something, you know, loaded up with all this, especially if you're spending this much money. I shouldn't see any of this. Honestly, just remove that. It's pretty infuriating. Oh God, dude. Are you kidding me, man? You're spending $3,700 and you have McAfee pre-installed on your computer. Listen, man, I truly appreciate ASUS sending me this, and ROG is doing amazing things, and of course Kojima Productions is goats, right? Goats. There's no way that when you spend this much money, you should have this bloatware pre-installed. Like McAfee, dude. Yes. Thank you, Lupe. Super disappointing, especially when you have such impressive hardware. The design is insane. This is 100% a device that I would, in 10 years, I'd be looking for it on eBay. Because, first of all, 128 gigs of RAM is absolutely insane. And the fact that it's a gaming tablet, it packs all that into this tiny little chassis is nuts. And of course, Kojima design, the thing looks sick. It turns on, that's all I wanted to check right now. I want to get into the guts. All right, now what screw size do we think this is? I say it is a T4. What do you say, Lupe? Yes. You're wrong. I have future sight. My future sight is knowing what size screws are, just by looking at the heads. We also have the M2 slot, which is readily accessible, which is awesome. So the RAM is soldered because AMD does not allow this chip to come with RAM that's not soldered because of signal integrity and whatnot. And we have our little WDPC SN 5000. This is a Gen 4 SSD. No heatsink on there, which is interesting. There's a little graphite. I mean, I guess this acts as a heatsink. I don't think I need to take this SSD out in order to open up the device because the device actually opens up from the front. So, which is super sketchy, and obviously I understand why people haven't done it. It opens up by detaching the frame from right here. So I have to unscrew these 2 screws. Super, 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 super sketchy. I cannot emphasize that enough because if this was a customer's device and I broke that screen, which is very easy to do, yeah, my shop's closed. Yeah, that's literally months and months of rent to try to get that thing fixed. We do have some little, like, Allen bits. I think these are just aesthetic. I don't think these are actually functional, but you know what? It wouldn't be me if I didn't try to probe them. So, this fits. Does it unscrew? It's unscrewing something. Oh shit, oh no, what's that? Well, I'm not sure if this thing is, actually, I don't think they're functional. I don't think these screws are functional. Yes. Let me see, hold on, I'm gonna try to tighten one and see if it moves. If it moves when I try to tighten it, then... Oh no. Wait, but, dude, it feels like it's unscrewing something. I think they're just cosmetic. I am literally sweating. Do you see what's left of my hairline? There's sweat. Now the reality is, it's worth more now that I've touched it with my tiny raccoon-like fingers. Okay, all right, now this is where we start to defecate ourselves. This is the time where I stick a metal spudger in between the frame right here and the glass. Let's get into it. I'm gonna use a suction cup first. This should pop out a little bit. There we go, and now I can use my trusty metal spudger. Shout out to Elite Obsolete Electronics. And now I can hopefully, gently, detach it from the frame. Now seriously, you should be using eye protection. Anytime you're dealing with a glass screen, always use eye protection. The last thing you want is for your eyeballs to be damaged by shattered glass. Worst case scenario, you don't want that. Unfortunately, my spudger isn't thin enough to pop out right there. It's pretty hard to see in there, but the frame is super thick, which is nice because it makes taking this thing apart way less sketchy. Oh, yes. Oh my God, yes, we did it. All right. Now the cable connects somewhere. Let's see where that is. Cable is right there. And I don't want to disconnect it yet. I want to disconnect the battery first. So, the dreaded ASUS battery connector right here. This is the heatsink. Speakers, so they weren't lying. The speakers are indeed right there, little speaker boys. This tablet does use liquid metal. Everything else looks like it's a pretty standard board. It's just a tiny motherboard. I'm guessing the RAM is soldered right underneath here with the APU. It's technically not a CPU, it's an APU, but that's the M2, so we did not have to remove the M2. The battery looks like it is easily replaceable though in the future. Hopefully ASUS sells the parts for the battery. That would be nice. That would be really cool of them since this is a tablet and the battery will need to be replaced eventually. Windows Hello right there, I think, the sensor. Look how big these magnets are. So I think these are the magnets for the keyboard. These are some thick boys, which is nice to see because that means you know your keyboard's gonna be stuck there. A lot of repair techs out there will remember the Microsoft Surface, the old ones, and a few other tablet devices would have adhesive around the edges, and it would literally be impossible to take this thing apart without breaking the screen. Not cool, because that means the repairability is garbage. I'm very happy that ASUS decided to do what they did here and put the screen on the frame. I know it doesn't sound like a lot if you're just watching this for like a review of the hardware and like, you know, how cool it is or whatever, but it's the little things that makes a difference in the long term, because if you're spending this much money, I would expect it to last a long time or a decent amount of time, and the fact that you can service it pretty easily, that's a plus in my book. Now, hopefully ASUS can just sell parts or make parts affordable going forward in the future. If they don't already, that would be awesome too. And just like that, it's all put back together. Ironically easier to disassemble and upgrade the SSD than it is 99% of laptops, which is pretty funny. The satisfaction that I get from doing this, that's why I don't have kids, I can't find them. There. I don't know if ASUS, ROG, if they have a deal with Microsoft, but I mean, let's just ditch this key. Not a single person is pressing that key, and I think Microsoft knows it. I do think Microsoft is finally starting to realize nobody wants your AI stuff. And speaking of AI, this device would be awesome for AI, for LLMs, because it does have 128 gigabytes of that LPDDR5 running at 8,000 MTS. This thing would be very good for LLMs. Kind of just like the Framework Desktop, which I've previously reviewed. But I don't want to dig into the software yet. Not at here. I'm gonna go home for that one. Now to transport it, I'm gonna use our little briefcase that we have here. I'm gonna cosplay. Right? Huh? I think it's pretty cool. All right, let's go. I have an important package to deliver. Yes.
One eternity later.
And we are back home. So now it's time to test the software. If you noticed before, the wallpaper when I booted this up was just the regular Windows 11 default wallpaper. It was because somebody owned this device before me. I got sloppy seconds. That's the device I have. So what I did was I completely factory reset it, and this is the wallpaper that you'll actually be getting. So the main reason you're gonna get this thing is because you are a collector of Kojima products, right? That you really like the theme of it, and you probably are gonna use it for gaming, or maybe AI stuff, but nanomachines, son! So the programs that do come pre-installed on here, I'm gonna save my rant until the end of the video regarding Windows 11 and what I think about the software. However, I just want to show you what actually comes pre-installed on here that's relevant to the theme of the Kojima laptop. So you have a special version of Armory Crate. So if you want to game on the go, you are not going to have access to that turbo or those manual modes. You're going to be stuck on performance. Under performance mode, it's capped at 65 watts. And under turbo mode, it can reach all the way to 100 watts, and that's why you have such a big FPS difference. Obviously, it's to conserve power because, you know, gaming on the go, this thing will only last like 30 minutes if you actually had it pumping out 100 watts. It is a 56 watt-hour battery, decent battery size. It works for if you're just doing average everyday stuff, but for gaming, you're gonna want this thing plugged in for sure. Manual lets you adjust the wattage to the max, so 80 watts, 92 watts, 93 watts. I also cranked the fan curve, which you can do as well in manual mode. I cranked the fan curve to hit 100% at 90 degrees Celsius because, I mean, it gets spicy. However, I have been playing Death Stranding for quite a while, and the max I hit was 89.2 degrees Celsius. That was the absolute max that this thing hit. The two vents at the top, they get spicy. So the back of the computer gets spicy as well. These are the two intakes, and this is the vapor chamber underneath right here. This gets very hot. If you're operating this on manual mode like I am, even with the fans full cranked, this gets very, very, very hot. But I mean, if you're gaming like that, you don't really care how hot it gets. But it didn't actually get hotter than, you know, 87 degrees or whatever, which is pretty impressive. As for the keyboard, this thing is the nicest tablet keyboard I've ever typed on. This thing has great key travel. It's nice and responsive. It feels good to type on. The touchpad, I'm never a fan of laptop or any sort of touchpad, but a touchpad is a touchpad. No qualms about it. It acts like a touchpad. Satisfying clicks, but the keyboard really does stand out. This thing is sick. Now let's talk about that 128 gigabytes of RAM skis. In Armory Crate, you can actually adjust the RAM amount that you want to dedicate to the GPU. So I have it on 64 gigabytes because I think that's more than enough. But if you're doing LLMs, you can put it all the way to 96, which is pretty sick. Same exact idea as the Framework desktop. They also have Aura Sync in Armory Crate, and that lets you customize the keyboard lights. I put mine on yellow, but it looks like the default is red. So, I mean, you can customize it however you want. I like yellow because you can see the keys better. Whatever, you can do what you want here. And you can customize the wallpaper and all this stuff. Basically, all the stuff you can already do in Armory Crate, you can theme the thing out. So that's that. But the entire reason I want this thing is because I'm gonna take it to Computex so I can do video editing. And I know this processor can video edit because I did it on the Framework desktop for a few weeks. I was editing and rendering stuff on that thing. It's not the fastest at rendering, but it can scrub the timeline faster than my 5800X that is on its last leg on my actual editing computer. The rendering time is fine on my 5800X because I have a friggin' 4090 Founders Edition, so rendering is fine. It's just the actual scrubbing the timeline, which takes up most of my time. I saw a video by, was it Wolfden? He was trying to edit 4K footage on the exact same computer I have, and it just froze on him. Like, it was super laggy, it was choppy. I did not have that problem, even on silent mode. So this is on silent mode, which I would never be operating this on silent mode if I'm trying to video edit. I'm gonna put it on manual mode. It scrubs decent. It's definitely not as fast as I would like it to be, but it's still decent. I'm sure rendering it'll be terrible. And you can see CPU is 2.8 gigahertz. If I put it on manual mode, it's gonna get a little loud. CPU kicks up to the max 3.5, and the scrubbing's a little better. Obviously, the downside of trying to edit content on this thing is the screen's tiny. Like, you can't even see this thing. I already have bad posture. I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna have to be all up in this thing. However, the LCD is a very good LCD. It uses the ROG Nebula display. I think it's a 180 hertz touchscreen LCD. It is not OLED, but you know what? This thing looks nice. It's a very good LCD. The colors are accurate. I have zero qualms about the LCD. If you're buying a $4,000 device, this is a pretty decent screen. I'm confident that I will be able to edit on this thing on the go, and because it's so thin. So it packs all that power into this tiny chassis. So in terms of sound, it has 4 2-watt speakers, so it's a quad speaker setup. 2 watts, they're decent. They're actually pretty good, especially for a device this size. Not bad at all. I'm not even gonna bother showing it like on the mic because you can never really tell, but it does have Dolby Atmos as well, and it actually works. Like, it's actually functional. When you're watching movies, or like playing video games, you can actually like hear directional where stuff is. Interesting. Speaking of gaming, this is how it is while gaming. So the iGPU is roughly equal to a mobile RTX 4060, which is absolutely insane. And it plays really any game at 1080p on medium to high settings without an issue. I have everything on 1920 because I like the higher resolution, and I'm getting 60 FPS no problem. This is Counter-Strike 2, and these are our settings, basically, you know, high, medium, all that good stuff. And we're gonna play some deathmatch. So in CS2 with those settings, this thing is way more than capable. I mean, this thing, you can game competitively on this. There's no reason you can't game competitively on this thing, which is absolutely nuts. It's a friggin' tablet, for Christ's sakes. There's zero stuttering happening right now either. I do have the CPU settings on manual, so everything's cranked up. You might hear that fan going pretty ham right now, but I don't care because, you know what, my frames are stable and my performance is amazing. You can expect similar results in like Valorant and all that good stuff, all those other games. This resolution, by the way, is 1920 by 1200. Now, it wouldn't be right if I didn't test this machine that was built for Death Stranding, that was inspired by Death Stranding and built to mimic the backpack in Death Stranding. Death Stranding plays perfectly fine, dude. This is very, very high settings. This is like the highest settings I could find. And we're at like 130 FPS. I think the lowest I saw it drop was like 100 when we were in something in like a really detailed environment. But yeah, this performs just fine. Again, incredibly capable gaming. Even unplugged on silent mode, this thing would be pretty decent. Even Metal Gear Solid Delta is able to run near 60 FPS. We're about 50 FPS on average. A few dips here. This is on Ultra. Everything is on Ultra. We have zero scaling happening right now. This is just pure power. And of course, it can play Crysis. Quite well, I might add. GPU pegged out at 100%, CPU being utilized 10%. So this is Resident Evil Requiem, and we have these settings, 1920, 1080. I have frame rate up to 120 FPS. I have everything, motion blur off. Everything's cranked pretty high. We have ray tracing on, everything's up there. We are upscaling with AMD FSR 3.1.5. Can't forget the 0.5. So those are our settings, and we're getting a solid 75, 80 FPS, depending on where we are. 100% playable, there's no tearing or anything like that, and the game looks absolutely amazing. If you told me 2 years ago that we're gonna have gaming tablets that can do this, I would have called you a filthy liar. And I do hope I'm doing justice to the LCD. The viewing angles are very good. You can see even if I do this. And the colors, they pop, the brightness, I think it goes up to 500 nits. And it looks sick. Even now, I'm in a room with some glare, and the anti-glare coating is decent on it. You can't really see the sun behind me. My window is glaring. This is nice. And let's see how it runs Forza Horizon. So this is on high with ray tracing on, and you have a solid 70 FPS, and the game looks amazing. I mean, Forza Horizon is so sick, dude. Over 70 FPS on a friggin' gaming tablet with ray tracing on, 1920 by 1200. Jeez. So I thought I would be a funny guy and just crank everything to extreme with ray tracing on, and I still got 36 FPS, which is absolutely insane on this thing. What the hell? I was completely expecting it to just crash and like explode, burst into flames, but it actually ran like pretty decent. Nuts. What the hell? This is a tablet. This is an absolutely amazing device. This is the coolest device I've ever used in my entire life. You can feel the passion in the artwork and the design. They spent a lot of time designing this thing, and they put genuine effort into this. This wasn't something that just rolled off the factory and it was a cookie cutter computer. This had effort put into it. This was passion. This is awesome, and it shows in the hardware. It shows in the hardware. It is all ruined by Windows 11. You're buying a $4,000 machine, right? $36.99, $369, damn she fine. All that money for this gorgeous carbon fiber. This is, I think, aluminum. Like, every little detail is just chef's kiss. And then on first boot up, you are immediately greeted with Windows 11 AI diarrhea. Just constant pop-ups in your face, which, that's Microsoft, right? That's Windows 11. That's the current state of Windows 11. And I forgot just how bad Windows 11 actually was, because I've been using a Rufus version of Windows 11, which is debloated by default on every single device I use. I install that, you know, right off the bat. I shouldn't have to install a fresh version of Windows 11 on a $4,000 device just to make it perform how it was meant to perform hardware-wise. This is the lock screen. This does not fit Kojima themes. I don't give a f about any of this. Get off my screen. This version of Windows 11 on the Kojima laptop should be themed out much better. Just trim all the bullshit, because somebody that's buying this isn't going to be using a Copilot button. The reason that this is an ASUS issue, and I'm speaking to ASUS directly, I don't know how much McAfee is paying you, but it's not enough, because this is bullshit. McAfee is a scam. McAfee is garbage. It preys on old people and vulnerable people that have no idea what tech is. They think they need a third-party antivirus, which Windows Defender does a perfectly fine job. McAfee does a terrible job. Immediately, it tries to sell me something. As soon as I boot the computer up, McAfee tries to get me to upgrade something. That is a slap in the face to the people that designed the hardware on this machine. It's ludicrous to install bloatware on a machine that you paid $4,000 for. I'm going to keep mentioning that price point because that is a lot of money. The taskbar is ridiculous. Copilot, Edge, Store, Armory Crate, okay, I'll let that pass. My ASUS, okay, I'll let that pass for warranty. Xbox, Outlook. I guess really Copilot is my main beef. Copilot and Outlook are my main beefs here. And the fact that we have a dedicated Copilot button. But like even worse, you keep this there, you don't get rid of this. No one wants to see this, dude. This is just me venting after the frustration of having to deal with debloating computers for like, 10 years. Get rid of this. The start menu, I don't want an Adobe promotion. Dropbox? Who the f still uses Dropbox? I don't want that on my computer. Get it off my computer. And then McAfee, of course, McAfee. Armory Crate, I have zero qualms with because you themed it out properly. Like, this looks cool. This looks like it belongs on Kojima hardware. But Adobe Promotion doesn't, McAfee doesn't, and you're doing a disservice by putting this garbage software on a device that is so precisely crafted to express how proud Kojima Productions are of their products. I know ASUS is putting McAfee on here, and you're just doing yourselves a disservice because it's shameful. And I would be very angry if I bought a device for this much money and I opened it up and the first thing I'm greeted with is just Windows 11 AI diarrhea, just pop-ups. Just so many back up your PC, do this, do that. In fact, the bloat is so bad on here that I'm going to make a second video of how to debloat your Windows machine, and I'm going to use this as an example, which really sucks because ROG and ASUS deserve an insane amount of credit for designing this thing. And I know the comment section is going to be screaming about Linux. Yeah, use Linux if you want to use Linux. I asked my Discord what distro they recommended me to use on this machine to match the Kojima theme. And I got 60 different answers. And that's the problem with Linux. We can't all agree on what would look best on this machine. And I'm sure it's for legal reasons that ASUS actually can't trim down this computer. They can't properly theme out this computer to make it look more Kojima-y. You guys remember the Windows themes? I forget what it was called, but you could like download a third-party program and you could like theme out your Windows XP, and we don't have that anymore. All we have is, oh, you can change your wallpaper and taskbar colors. You can change the window border colors. So all in all, what do I think about this device? Is it worth $36,999.99? Yes, if you are a Kojima fan and you want a portable device that is capable of gaming and video editing, this is great. This is a fantastic device. It's a collector's item. You can get something much cheaper for the same performance or even better performance. This is about 4 pounds. You can get something that's probably lighter than this with better performance. However, this is a collector's item. This is exactly the type of thing I would buy 10 years from now when it's used and on eBay. But I don't think this thing's gonna go for that cheap on eBay, even in 10 years, because there was only a few of these made. And I think everybody at ROG and Kojima Productions and ASUS who had a hand in making this thing, you should all be proud of yourselves because you made a legendary device that will be talked about for a very long time. And you guys deserve so much credit for doing what you did. As for me, I'm gonna keep using this device because it's the most powerful thing I own right now. We'll see how this fares when it's in Taiwan with me. After using it for a few days now, I have zero reasons to believe that it's gonna let me down. So shout out to ROG, ASUS for giving me this device. Shout out to Kojima Productions for collabing with them. And thank you for watching this video.